Hey, there's the music. That means it's time for Animal Talk. Some of the best doggone pet people on the planet helping you with your pet, one pooch at a time. It's America's Pet Show, Animal Talk. Thanks for being with us. Be sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment, do all those podcast things in all the podcast places. We truly appreciate you coming around. AnimalTalkRadio.com is the website, and of course WearingFunny.com if you're looking for some gear, some pet parent gear, some funny t-shirts. They're all there. They're available for you. Appreciate our sponsor, WearingFunny.com. Great place. Go check them out. And for your pet help and information, you're in the right spot. We're going to help you out. We have years and years of animal calls and emails and interviews, and we're sharing them all with you on these Animal Talk Rewinds. Now, Animal Talk, it is for entertainment purposes only, so make sure you check with your local veterinarian, your local trainer, if you have any issues coming up, and we're here to help. Our professionals always got great ideas, too, so here we go, having a little bit of fun. It's Animal Talk.
And you get help like the cat sitting across from me.
I'm Dr. Brad Davis, here to answer any veterinary questions you might have.
It's cold and scaly, but there's no reason to be afraid.
I'm Brian Barczyk, here to answer all reptile questions.
A little hand cream will clear that up. All right, and the brightest of the bunch.
I'm Donna Fournier, and I'm here to answer any training questions.
I couldn't think of a product name quick enough. All right,
That's all right.
All right,
Hand
helping you with your
sanitizer.
pet, whatever the problem is. We're here to help you out. My name's Jamie. I just want to make sure everybody has a good time.
He is the Jimmy Buffett of radio.
Cut my heel on a pop top. I'll be right back. And we got Joy on the line who has a question about some territorial issues. Joy, welcome to Animal Talk.
Thank you.
Joy, thanks for
I was
holding.
calling to find out. I actually had two questions: one cat question, one dog question.
Go ahead, Joy. What do you got?
Territorial question has to do with the dogs. My mom has two Shih Tzus and a poodle. They're all girls, and they're all around 12 and 13 years old. The poodle came last into the family, and it seems that after they use the bathroom in the yard, the poodle goes behind the both other dogs, and she then goes to the bathroom over what they did. No matter how many times she's gone, she can still go.
Yeah, that's a marking behavior.
Is that territorial, or what is it?
Well, it's marking can come from territory. It can also come from dominance. If the poodle happens to be the bigger of the three dogs, where we're kind of the leader of this group, we're the one that tends to get the attention first or seek the attention first. We're the one who thinks that we're the leader of this particular pack. You will see this. You'll also see this when you have multiple dogs, say at a dog park or at a dog daycare. You'll see this happen multiple times. One dog will urinate, and then six others will come up behind them and do the same thing. They'll usually not necessarily go right on the spot, but they'll go next to the spot. And it's a way of saying, hey, I'm here. Think of it as dog graffiti. Mm-hmm. I was here. That's basically what they're doing, saying, hey, I was here too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And the cat question, it has to do with my cat. She's afraid of plastic bags, the sound of plastic bags, and it's something that just started when she was a kitten. It wasn't a problem. Mm-hmm. And now, as she's about 13, and you can shake a bag and she's gone, you would think that you just shot a gun or something. Mm-hmm. And I'm wondering, is there anything that I can do to get her out of that, or is that just something to accept because she's just afraid of them?
Well, anything could have happened. Something startled her at that moment. Something else got tied into that. If she was used to it before and now suddenly it bothers us, it could be the pitch. As we get older, our hearing tends to change a little bit. So it could be we're not happy with the sound of it. We don't like it. It's her equivalent of nails on a chalkboard. So yeah, and noise is a frequent startler of cats. So it's not something that I would be terribly concerned about. But it is something that if you tried to tie it into a positive behavior, you would want to feed her a special treat. Like if you don't normally give canned food, then you would open a can of food and start off very lowly crinkling the bag just between your hands, and before you graduate up to actual shaking of the bag to kind of open it up like we all do with a garbage bag. But you start off with a low noise while something positive is occurring, and usually that's food. So she's getting this really awesome, wonderful snack that she doesn't ever get, and this weird noise is happening at a lower level. And then you gradually increase the level of the sound that you're producing with the bag before it can get up to that full-on, I'm going to shake open this bag, and see how she does. If you get to a point where you make a bigger noise and she backs off the food, then it tells you that she's not ready for that step yet.
Okay.
Or you could just switch
Thank
to
you so
paper
much.
bags.
Yeah.
Switch it.
And this isn't unusual, by the way, because a lot of older men get really sick of listening to the old bag. So
The camera was on. You said it. So
So yeah, you can't blame anybody but you for that one, buddy.
all right.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right, Joy. Thanks so much for the call. Joy,
Okay.
all right. Have you, Joy? You still with me?
Uh-huh.
All right, Joy. Have you ever taken your pet to work with you?
No, I haven't.
No? Would you consider it? We all brought our pets into work today just for fun.
No, she's not very social.
Okay. Right on. All right, there you go. Well, Joy, let us know if that helps out, and definitely get back to us, all right?
I certainly will. Thank
All right,
you.
take care. It's on the website, animaltalkradio.com. People send in emails all the time, and we like to help them out with those. Brian, we'll pull my email up there. Hit that Outlook. Jeremy sent a question in about, what was it? Tap on that first top one there about, it was, if I breed a bumblebee ball to a lemon blast ball, what is the chance of getting a killer blast? And these are pythons, right?
Yeah, those are both ball pythons, and again, those are.
And what
Yeah,
is a killer blast python?
Well, a killer blast ball python is a combination of both those two animals. Basically, what you have, again, we talk about color mutations or paint jobs an awful lot when we talk about these things.
Yeah.
And they both share this one trait, which is called pastel.
Okay.
And the super part is where you would then call it a killer phase. And then the actual spider part in the bumblebee, which is a pastel bumblebee, or a pastel spider is a bumblebee, and then the pastel pinstripe is a lemon blast. I don't want to get too technical here, but basically when you breed them together, you're trying to get the super form of the pastel and the combination of the spider and pinstripe to make the killer blast. Your odds are 1 in 8. Now, what's really cool when you're producing, it's kind of like rolling the dice because, you're really looking at each egg has a 1/8 chance of producing a killer blast. And these animals have typically anywhere from 6 to 8 eggs.
Okay.
So in one clutch, you're really going to get anywhere from like a normal pastel, a super pastel, a lemon blast, a bumblebee, a killer blast, a spinner blast. I mean, there's all kinds of different combinations. So it's kind of like a potpourri. It's a really cool breeding, but mathematically 1 in 8 shot in that one.
So what, like a regular ball python, how much would a regular ball python sell for on the open
at a pet
market?
shop would go for maybe $50.
Okay,
like
and
that.
one of these killer blast pythons, how much would you sell
about
one of those for?
8,500 is what they're going for. Yeah.
Like $1,500?
No, 8,500.
8,000.
8,500.
8,500.
All right,
8,500.
that's worth playing a little Barry White and getting the snakes frisky.
Exactly.
All right.
getting the
that's
snakes
nice.
frisky.
And we got Jill on the line. Jill, welcome to Animal Talk.
Thank you.
Hey, Jill.
How are you guys?
Oh, we're doing well. We're doing well. You got that Bark for Life coming up, right?
Yes,
What?
April 18th
Yeah, and so who's
at
going to...
Kensington.
At Kensington, that's right. That's where it's going to be, at Kensington. So what are people going to see at the Bark for Life?
It's a 1 mile dog walk fundraiser for the American Cancer Society. And we have it's just a fast walk, and we're going to have some contests, like a cutest costume. I think we're going to have a dizzy dog contest, so if your dog can spin, they can, come. We're going to see who can spin the longest. And the Disc Dogs of Michigan are going to be doing a disc demonstration for us.
That's what we were getting into there.
The Rock and Roll Canines are going to end the day with the show.
That's what we wanted to see there. The Disc Dogs and the Rock and Roll Canines. The Rock and Roll Canines are so much fun. And just truly amazing. It's a combination of so many talents that dogs have. And people can check that out for the Bark for Life Sunday, April 18 out at Kensington. So, Jill, thanks for reminding us about that. And people can come out and see you there. And there's raising money money for the American Cancer Society, which is a good cause and a fun way to do it with your pet. So thanks
Thank
for
you for plugging it for
oh yeah, thanks for checking in, and we'll talk to you very soon, Jill. All right, and yeah, thanks a lot. We have a call here from Southfield. Prater, welcome to Animal Talk.
Thank you.
All right, what do you have going on? What kind of pet do you have?
She is a 2-year-old mixed breed.
Mm-hmm.
She has Lab, Pit, and German Shepherd.
And what's going on with the dog?
She's wonderful with people.
Okay.
Just very loving. When you take her for a walk or she sees another dog, she goes mad. I mean, she's strong, and she just like wants to tear them up. Mm-hmm. And I need help with that.
Yeah, this is unfortunately not an unusual problem. I've dealt with a lot of people that have had this very same situation. It's something that what you need to do is get into a class. You need to take some sort of training. You need to get the dog into a class.
In the class, she was fine because she was terrified of the trainer.
Oh, well, that's
really
not
why.
good.
She was fine in the class. Get her outside, and it doesn't work.
And when you told the trainer that, did they come with you then for a walk and see what's going on, or did anything like that occur?
No. I mean, the trainer saw how she was when she first started.
Okay.
And, in fact, even when we were in the class, he kept the other dogs a little away from her.
Okay.
But, I mean, she was all right in the class. When she didn't like to go to the class, but when she was in there, after a while, she was all right. Mm-hmm. I mean, after the first 2 sessions. But it doesn't work in the neighborhood.
Yeah, and part of that, it can be a twofold problem. The first thing is how she responds to you giving her a correction or direction. Not seeing and not knowing how that goes, that's the first avenue that you have to pursue. Does she believe you when you say no or leave it or whatever your command is for that, and does she continue to follow? The next thing that we look at is how you are dealing with the stress of what's about to happen. Typically, when people are dealing with a situation like this, we tend to tense. You tense, the dog senses that you're tense and becomes more outward showing. So you have to be in control of your feelings and remain calm, and don't think of, oh my gosh, there's a dog over there, we're going to go through this all over again. Because every time you think of the past situation, you tend to tense, and she's going to read that and react in a way she feels she has to, which is to stand up and protect you. If she's also not listening when you give direction or you give a correction and she doesn't believe that you mean it, that's part of the communication barrier that you're dealing with that can cause this as well. If she doesn't believe or respect that you have the authority to give her a command or listen to you, then she's not going to, whether you're out in public or in a class or anywhere else. If she was terrified of the trainer, that's not a good thing. They should never be scared of the trainer. They should have a respect for the trainer, but never be scared of the trainer. So she should have a respect for you. When you say knock it off, she should knock it off. That's the end of the talk. There's no, I'm going to tell you again, there's no more of that. So what I would recommend for you, I know that you've already been through one class, but it would be really helpful, possibly even to do some private lessons. Have the trainer come to your home and go for a walk around your neighborhood. Spring is here. This is the prime time. You're going to start seeing more and more people out. There's going to be more dogs. There's more critters. There's more children. There's more of everything now. And we're going into the 70s this week. So this is prime time. Get a private instruction happening in your home. Walk around the neighborhood and put what you know to use, and let the trainer also evaluate how the dog responds to you. Because again, if the dog doesn't respect you, no matter what you say or do out there, it's not going to matter.
That sounds good, but I will say that in the house, she does respect. I mean, I can put the food down and tell her to stop eating, and she'll stop. Tell her when to eat. I mean, it's in the house. She's just amazing.
She understands the house is your
that's a good
law.
idea. I think I'll try that.
Yeah,
with the trainer outside for that particular reason.
Right. And even if it's just having a couple of sessions, private sessions in your home, where you can walk around the neighborhood and be exposed to these things, and it would be advantageous for you to do it on a weekend where there's more people out and about with their pets. And as I said, as the week goes on, it's supposed to get nicer and nicer. So even trying to set something up for this weekend would be an ideal situation. More people are going to be out with their pets, and even on a Friday or Saturday, and getting them out and about. But what you have to understand is she knows the rules at home. But every time you take your dog to a new territory, whether it's out your front door, out your back door, anywhere else, over at the vet clinic, over at the training center, whatever it is, that's a new territory that she's trying to figure out who's the boss of. And she's told you that she's the boss outside for a walk.
Hey, it's Jamie. I got to hop on in here and remind you about our sponsor, wearingfunny.com. Wearingfunny.com for all your pet parent t-shirt needs. Head on over wearingfunny.com and check out the vast array of amazing, hilarious t-shirts. Thoughtful, cuddly, and cute for you and your kitties and your puppies. And hey, we take requests. If you have a critter that we don't have represented, let us know. We'll get you connected with just the perfect shirt for you and your critters, showing your love for being the best pet parent you can possibly be. Wearingfunny.com. Back to the show.
Oh, yeah, that's what we're here to do. And, Saris in Detroit had a question, needed some help with her pet. Saris, welcome to Animal Talk. Hello. Yes, hi.
I want to ask the vet on Animal Talk about my pups with lymph node cancer. I want to know how long will it be. They're Shih Tzus. They're 14 to 15 years old. How long will it be before they show fatal signs of this disease?
Boy, you picked, when we're talking about lymph node cancer, everybody knows it. It's lymphoma, lymphosarcoma, and it's truly one of the bad boys of the cancer world.
The doctor says no cure.
There's really no cure. There's control. There's no cure. I mean, you can get really hardcore with this. And in fact, we're in an area that's blessed with a lot of people who can do that. I can think off the top of my head of 3 people who do chemotherapy for dogs that have this. But I will say, and in fact, I'll tell you honestly, I lost a dog to this disease myself. The dog was literally 1 year old, and it got lymphosarcoma. And we were very lucky. We did the chemotherapy, and the dog did pretty well for about 6 months. It had probably the only happy 6 months of its life. It was a rescue. We got it about 10 months old, found the cancer right away, and then we started. But the thing about it is this suddenly went in for treatment, and this dog went down just that day. I mean, it just crashed suddenly. So not to say that that's going to happen here, but what you're going to see is you will see a decline. You'll see the muscle mass start to waste. You'll start seeing us go downhill. And there are chemotherapeutic agents. Chemotherapy used to be awful, in my opinion. It used to be, if you think of cancer as like having a rope tied around your waist and the other end of the rope tied to a car that's pulling you over a cliff. Basically, chemotherapy was putting on cleats. It was just sort of breaking your legs as you tried to stop from going over the edge. The thing about it is now chemotherapy can make a huge difference without all the side effects. So that can help you. The problem is cost. Chemotherapy can be expensive. Now, there's some great people who do it in the area. There's Dr. Obradovich out in Canton. There's a Michigan vet specialist. They have people who do chemotherapy. But it does get expensive, not just for the injections, but also for the monitoring. What can you expect with the disease? As I say, we're going to start losing muscle mass, get progressively weaker. And it's rare that a dog actually dies of the cancer because usually you make the decision before you reach that point. I always say this.
What surprised me was why did both of them get it and they're not from the same litter?
They got it at the same time?
One is older than the other one.
Well, that's a good question. Of course, why would 2 animals in the same house get the same disease at the same time? You got to wonder about. Obviously, it's not something that's going to happen. They don't catch it. It's not an infectious disease. It makes you wonder if there was something that they were exposed to that could have caused them both to have that. And really, that's where someone like a Dr. Obradovich might come in handy, because she would be able to say, hey, you know what, this is what's going on. And if it's only 2 dogs that you have and they both have this, That's one thing. If you have other dogs or there's going to be other dogs over at the house, it might be worth finding out about. So that's something beyond the scope of what I'm going to be able to help you.
Got a poodle that's 18 years old, and she's got an unoperable tumor in the top of her mouth.
Okay.
It's like a black ball.
Okay.
All the teeth are falling out around it.
Okay.
And he says nothing he can do about that.
Well, that's probably not going to be lymphosarcoma, though. That's probably a different tumor.
Okay.
And the reason is, and part of the reason, and this is going to sound like I'm joking, but I'm not. Part of the reason is we're 18. If you take how long an animal's alive, the first year of life's like 25 years, and then every year after that's like 5 years. Well, that's 17 times 5, which is 85 plus 25. So we're about 110 years old, using a very conservative system for aging. And frankly, when you get to be 110, cancer runs pretty rampant, and problems can occur. So I think what might have happened, even though one is very up there in years, the other one is up there in years as well. When you have two critters that are getting up there, just like people, men born when I was born, our average lifespan is about 72 years. That doesn't mean that I'm guaranteed 72 years. I can drive as fast as I want. I do, but it doesn't mean that I'm going to be able to survive a crash because I should live to be 72. It doesn't mean I go lay down at the cemetery and wait at 72. It just means that we have that's about what we can expect. Again, this is what we're seeing here. We're seeing as we're getting older, more of those problems jumping in and causing it. And again, different ages. Why does it happen at different ages? It's a different cancer. It's a different problem, and it's a different individual, just like with people.
All right, Sarah.
Thank you very much.
Good luck.
Keep them comfortable, and
you'll know when the time comes. If they're not happy being alive, that's what they deserve. If they're not happy and you can't make us happy again, then it's time to let them go, and it's time to make the decision of love. Okay.
I got one that scrapes across the sidewalk after she used the bathroom. Why does she do that? She looks like she on a rolling wheel when she do it.
Rubbing our butt?
So professional, she looks like she on a cart.
Okay.
But it's just her little behind rolling across the sidewalk.
Well, have you ever tried it? It's really fun. No, I'm kidding. No. It's the reason they do that is because they're itching. Often it means the anal glands are inflamed or possibly some parasites. But it means there's itching back there. Sometimes there's also a little bit of matting. So what you do is just like checking under the hood, check under the tail, see if you see anything. If you don't see anything, have the vet check the anal glands, or because that's something that could be a minute problem that they take care of easily, and then we won't do that anymore. If it's parasites, well, it's not the most important thing at this point, but some parasites can be shared with people, so it'll be really worth getting that checked out.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thanks so much for the call.
Yep. Today.
I mean, good. And thanks for the call. It's hard calls like that, but the people face those sorts of things all the time. So and so she's not alone. She knows she's not alone, and that's a good thing.
Yeah, and they get so attached to them. And again, the thing about this, no matter what happens, if you're 110 years old, you're blessed. I mean, who in this room wouldn't take that right now?
Yeah.
If you say, we'll give you to 110 years old, even if whatever time these dogs have, they've had a long, loved life, and so they're blessed. As she is, she's blessed that she's gotten to have them this long, and they're blessed to be loved for so long. So, so it's really a good news story in the end. It's just the ending is harder, but it's good overall.
Yeah. And Brad, thinking about the holiday coming up, right? We're heading into Easter week here, and Easter baskets. The chocolate bunnies and Easter baskets laying around. Keep them up and out of reach, right?
Keep them out of reach, but not so much for the chocolate. I mean, the chocolate's a concern, but you have to eat a lot of chocolate to be a problem. The biggest problem I have is with that grass. Oh, I hate the grass. I'm like a state trooper. I'm waiting for the grass.
It's the blockage. I'm all backed up over here.
Exactly. The strings are more dangerous.
I mean, that's funny, but it's the grass and the ribbon and it's like tinsel, right? They can shred up their insides and block up their insides.
My favorite Christmas tree decoration was always the tinsel. I loved it, but if you have pets, it's not a great idea. Same thing with curling ribbon. It's really fun to put in the curling ribbon.
And the pets love it. They're drawn to it. Colors, it's springy, it moves, and then they're after it. Next thing you know,
it sounds. Most of the time, the animal likes the sound of it. when we're chewing on it.
And the big problem is it gets caught on the goes through the intestines, gets caught on the wall, and then it starts rolling up the intestines. So if you roll up your sleeve, you'll feel as you roll it up and roll it up and roll it, gets tighter and tighter. Yeah. Now it's hard for me because I have gigantic arms.
Yeah, he's like a cartoon character. He's got these Popeye forearms.
Yeah. And the thing is, it's implants. But anyway, the thing is that that's what happens, and then as it gets wadded up, it kills the intestines. So a foreign body. Again, as I always say, once I removed G.I. Joe from the intestines, I found G.I. Joe and moved it, no problem at all.
Yeah.
But when it starts wadding up like that, you're not just taking it out, you're taking out a big chunk of intestine, that's where it's a big problem. Do snakes do that? Do snakes swallow things ever? Or do we see that?
Oh, yeah, sure, but they're so good about that stuff. I mean, I don't, believe it or not, there's a famous photograph with a snake that had swallowed a light bulb. And there's an x-ray of it. And so that's about the most bizarre thing, but most of the time they'll pass anything.
There was this guy with 800. Brad, people send in those emails from time to time. They do that through the website and the World Wide Webby thing. And then we get them, and we like to answer them. Do you have one over there we'd like to answer?
Sure. Dear Animal Talk.
You've got mail.
I was thinking of getting a few Anoles or Anoles. Anoles? Anoles, okay. As pets. How many can I keep in a tank? They won't eat each other, will they? What do they eat? Will they need a heat lamp? How should I prepare their tank? And this is signed Seymour.
Okay, Seymour. Anoles are actually really communal pets. I mean, you can keep many of them as a matter of fact, a lot of times you'll see wholesalers that have hundreds of them in a screened-in enclosure.
Wow.
So they certainly can live together and do fine. They're all, if you ever travel to Florida, they're the little brown little lizards that you see running all over the place.
Okay.
But the real popular ones are actually green anoles for pets, and they actually come out of Louisiana. But yeah, you can certainly keep as many as you'd want. I mean, just depends on what size cage you have. If you have a 20-gallon, you could keep 10 or 15 of them in there. If you have a bigger tank, you can keep more.
Yeah, they don't get very big.
No, they stay 2-3 inches body length. Very small animals. They're not necessarily what I would consider a great pet, but you could take them out and they'll run around a little bit. But they're kind of quick. You have to be a little bit careful. But they're insectivores, so they eat any kind of crickets, mealworms, anything like that. Real easy to care for. They do need heat. Again, they come from Louisiana, Florida, that whole area down there, so you want a heat lamp on there. On about 80, 82 degrees. Other than that, it's a real simple setup. Feed them. They like a lot of climbing areas. Water them. Mist them down once or twice a day, and you're pretty much good to go.
Now I was going to ask you, because I had these at one point, believe it or not. I had these.
You did?
Yes, I had these when I was in grade school, because there was a box of them broke open. My dad was a mailman. He worked at the post office, and a box broke open, and there was a bunch of them in the bottom of a mail bin. And so he brought a couple home for me because he loved me. But anyway, he
obviously.
Oh, we couldn't have a puppy. But anyway, here's
a couple of lizards.
but I remember that we had mealworms that we would hold in our hands and heat them up, and I thought, well, this is just great. I'm holding an insect in my hand, heating it up. But then one day, and this is where I'm going to sound awful here. There was maggots in a garbage can, and I took them out and I put them in the garbage can, and he was just happy as a clam. It was like he was at a buffet and he was loading up. Is that a problem? Is that bad for them?
Oh, no, not at all. Not at all.
Okay.
No, yeah, I mean, any life cycle of a bug, which are, obviously larvae and maggots are just a life cycle of a bug. As a matter of fact, maggots and beetle larvae actually have tremendous amount of protein and fat in them. So it's actually really good for lizards when you want to beef them up. So no, it's not a problem. It's a little gross, I mean, I personally wouldn't eat them, but,
I used to catch my own grasshoppers and crickets to feed to my lizards.
Oh, yeah, sure.
I was worried what she meant there.
Yeah, I thought she was going to say, I used to eat them all the time.
I never had a lizard, but I used to catch them.
No, I actually caught an anole in Florida and brought it home and kept it.
Oh, yeah, there's actually something that's called waxworms that are kind of like big, huge maggots. They're really disgusting. Actually, had a friend of mine in Florida that at a radio station won a contest for doing the most disgusting thing, and he ate 2 pounds of waxworms.
Oh, wow.
2 pounds. He won a sailboat, though, so that was nice.
You know what? That's still not worth it to me.
I got that going for me.
Seriously, if you've ever seen these things, these are giant maggots. They're kind of like a cutareba. They're nasty. Gross.
Yeah, 2 pounds. I mean, 2 pounds of anything is a lot. Even 2 pounds of steak is a lot. Could you imagine eating 2 pounds of maggots?
No.
A few years ago, we had a guest on the show who talked about eating bugs like that. He said the trick is show up to the market early before they've been out in the sun for a while. They're much tastier. So just a little tip for anyone out there who's going to be eating.
Well, there you go.
Well, that's really good. That's
Because I've used the waxworms as a treat for Monkey, who was my sugar glider.
Mm-hmm.
So you can give them,
they love those.
They do.
love them. Yeah.
Absolutely loved it. That she would do anything for that. It's nasty.
Who wouldn't?
Yeah, me. Those things are gross. I hate it because I raised baby birds and I've used those
birds,
too.
And
once they get on the solid food, I'd switch them over to what they'd be. I'd go dig up worms from my backyard and bugs and all kinds of stuff. But I would buy at the pet store. I would buy the waxworms and load them up so they get nice and
you can use them for anything.
Nasty things though. The leaf worms are kind of cool though.
Oh yeah. The tomato worms are even cooler. They're actually pretty.
Yeah, they are. I saw them the other day.
Jamie's actually on a life raft. He's actually floating away. He doesn't want any part of the bug talk.
He's on a sailboat from eating other waxworms.
That's good stuff. Well,
hey, nobody said the animal world was pretty all the time.
I'm no longer hungry. This is the best diet in the world. Right here. All right, helping you with your pet, even if it's gross, we'll help you with it. Putting the mouse in the pinky press. We're ready for that. They still do that?
Yeah, there's some stuff like that. There's something called a pinky pump.
Yeah. It basically squeezes a mouse into a...
Yeah, it emulsifies it.
Yeah, so you can feed it to your snake easier. It's charming stuff. All right, I'm helping you with your pets no matter what the problem is. Jamie, Donna, Dr. Brad, Brian, Animal Talk. It's America's Pet Show. And, of course, the website's always there, animaltalkradio.com, to get you some help and advice electronically. We're always able to do that. And we brought our pets.
Okay?
Yeah, it's just hearing Mina snore like mad. It's funny. Brought our pets into work, so that's a huge snoring in the background is a mixture of Kirby and the dog Mina snoring. It's great. We like to have some fun while we're here. Bad animal joke of the week. Here we go. Hey, Brad.
Yes, Mr. Jamie.
Why do gorillas have big nostrils?
I don't know, Mr. Jamie. Why do gorillas have big nostrils?
Because they have big fingers.
Yeah.
That was disgusting.
That could be the best one ever. That could clearly be. That could be the closest to funny any joke in the bad animal joke spectrum has ever been.
There you go. Bad animal joke of the week. Yeah, it's just the gross animal joke of the week.
Yeah, seriously.
So maybe you'd like to send in your bad animal joke. Send it to me, Jamie, at animaltalkradio.com, and we will we'll get that on the air. You can call it in too. Thanks for being with us for another episode of Animal Talk. Make sure you do all those podcast things in the podcast places. Like, subscribe, leave a comment. We hope you had a little fun along the way. Make sure you head on over to wearingfunny.com. You can grab yourself some gear to show off what a proud pet parent you are. Are you a cool cat mom? Are you a happy doggy daddy? We got all the gear just for you. Hats, shirts, all kinds of swag. Wearingfunny.com. Go check it out and show yourself a little animal pride with Animal Talk. Once again, like, subscribe, leave a comment. Thank you so much for being here. Have an exotic week and kiss your wild thing for us.
Bye-bye, boys. Have fun storming the castle.
Think it'll work?
It would take a miracle. Bye-bye.